All rise.
This is Deeper Than Money. Talk to me. I want viewers watching my show to believe in themselves.
Judge Hatchett is compelling.
If he is not going to honor you, he needs to be gone.
Compassionate.
I don't want you to give up on your dreams. I don't. And I want to figure out how we get this straight.
She's powerful.
If I were in this situation, I would have put you out too.
And she's on the bench.
I feel like I'm being judged here.
That's what I do.
You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Riley Monroe is suing Donna Monroe in the amount of $2,300. Mr. Monroe claims his mother threw out his childhood ornament collection and says he wants compensation for the loss of his sentimental treasures.
Hi, Riley, you are suing the defendant for some $2,300. And you're saying that because of what she did, that it destroyed things that were of great value and personal interest to you. Is that correct?
That is, Your Honor.
All right, so tell me about the relationship. What is the relationship between the two of you?
Growing up, we were very close. I'm a mama's boy. We spent Christmases together, everything. It was a very mom and son relationship.
So you're suing your mother?
I am.
Whoa.
Recently, I moved into my first apartment, my first little studio. We're approaching the holidays, and I reached out to her asking for Christmas ornaments that we had stored. Ones that she had brought to me from places all over the world. She ended up telling me that she threw them away. I have the text messages here.
Was it accidental? Tell me.
It was.
Okay, this is your son.
Yes.
He is suing you. He is saying that there were things stored at the home. He had moved out and that he wanted to retrieve them and that they weren't there anymore.
Well, what happened, Your Honor, was...
Can you describe more about what was in this box? You talk about ornaments. Can you give me a little bit more of an understanding? And I want to hear from you, please.
Absolutely. So my mom, she works in real estate. Because of that, she had to travel a lot. And her way of showing me love while she was away was when she came back, she'd give me ornaments. Ornaments from Italy, from the UK, all these places.
How wonderful.
So they meant a lot, and a lot of them weren't made. I had an appraisal done on them, and that's how I got to the number. So some of these are valued at over $200, $150, like nice pieces from these European countries.
That's interesting. I don't know I've never met anybody in my life who has done that, who had that tradition with their children.
Mm-hmm.
I have two sons, and when I would travel in different places in the world, I would always buy 2 ornaments, right? One for each of them. And so that I had 2 sets of ornaments from different places across the world. It's very interesting. I've never encountered anybody who did that for their children. So this is very interesting. So you had them appraised. There were places from all over the world.
Correct.
But they were stored at your mother's house.
That is right.
And then you moved and you wanted the ornaments back. Do you have pictures? Can I see what they look like?
I have a bunch of pictures as with the text messages here when I found out they were thrown away.
Okay. Oh, this does bring back memories, because I would decorate my tree with all the ornaments when they were children and growing up. And this is your picture of you when you were little?
Yep, and then that's me with my aunt there.
Ah, how lovely. So there has to be some explanation to this, Ms. Monroe. You would not have built this collection of these magnificent ornaments from all places all over the world for them to just be thrown away. So please help me understand what happened.
So, Your Honor, I'm not diagnosed officially by any doctor, so I don't want to say that I'm diagnosed, but I do believe that for my entire life that I've had major depressive disorder and anxiety. And Riley knows this about me. You know, he's obviously my son. He's lived with me his entire life until he went to college. And I get into these purge manias when I'm really at my lowest. For me, cleaning and clearing things out helps me to change my state of mind. And so I was in a real depressive low, and yes, he had just moved into his new apartment, but he actually came over and he got things for his apartment. So When I went up into the attic, I'm moving things around from one closet and I want to move it up to the attic, but I've got to move things out of the attic to make room for that. So I'm just looking at tons of dusty boxes, and I see this box that's got like a layer of like an inch thick of dust on it. Maybe it had a label, maybe it didn't. I didn't see it. But what I saw on the top of that box, like just kind of opening it up a little bit, were just like old popsicle sticks turned into a snowflake, or like, you know, those ornaments that you made as a kid in preschool where you press your hand in the cement or something like that. And I figured, he doesn't want that. You know, these are things
Let me tell you,
from
those
childhood. I
ornaments
didn't know
that
those
kids make
ornaments.
when they were preschool, in some ways, are more valuable than anything that you can buy.
My point of view on things like that is they just hold us back. So I'm not a very sentimental to objects kind of a person.
Coming up on The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
There's addiction in our family. I don't want to be a hoarder. I will not be a hoarder like other family members
But
have been.
this is not a hoarding situation. These are ornaments. This is a box of Christmas ornaments.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Riley Monroe, who is suing his mother, Donna Monroe, for property loss.
Stuff weighs people down, and I think we could all do better with getting rid of those things. And I honestly wish that Riley would listen to me about that,
But maybe, and you talk about this, and I'm going to have you hear from you in just a moment, but I want to talk to her for a moment. And I'm talking to you more from a mother's heart than a judge right now. That these things were things that were important to him and had sentimental value for him. And although you may have felt that you are holding on to the past, they weren't yours, they were his. They were things that he had memories of as a child growing up. And what the attachment is that you were traveling, you were busy, you were a businesswoman, but yet you took the time to bring these special things home for him. It doesn't make up for the time that perhaps you were away, but it also is a gift that says that even when I was away, when I was traveling, when I was working, and I say this to you because I've always been a working mother. The morning that I first had to go back to work after my first son was born, I couldn't get past the front steps of my house, right? And I'm a strong woman. I mean, I am a really strong woman. I literally sat on those front steps and just broke down and cried, right? Because here I am feeling guilty that I'm going to work and I'm leaving this baby. But I also knew that I would be a better mother if I had the balance of work. I had to resolve my guilt about working because I then might not see his first steps. That's what I was obsessed with, that I was gonna miss seeing that boy take his first steps. But I wrote in my book that I may not have seen his first steps, but my job as a mother was to order his steps. And that's how I dealt with it. So I get the whole point of trying to balance and working. So I'm telling you that these special gifts that you were bringing back to him had meaning for him. And even though you're saying that it's kind of holding you to the past, those memories can be very, very, very important and very special. So let me also ask you the hard question. You say that you were never diagnosed. Why not have gone to get some help for this, as you describe this depressive disorder?
You know, I have talked to my GP in the past, and I've had a therapist at one point, but anytime the subject gets brought up, they just want to send you to a psychiatrist to get you drugged. Right. And I don't want to put anything in my body. I am, we have family in the past who have gotten sick from things, and sometimes I wonder, was it the drugs that they were put on?
Well, what about not going to a psychiatrist, but maybe going to a psychologist that may not have involved or would not have involved drugs because they couldn't prescribe drugs?
Right.
And so it might be something that, we're not going to solve it here today, but maybe that's something for you to consider and for people who may be watching this and thinking, well, maybe that sounds like something I need to help with too. So let me ask you, Riley, so when you found this out, what did you say with your mother? How did you all resolve this before it got to my courtroom?
Well, let me just add on and say we're not just here because of Christmas ornaments. There's a bigger problem.
What is that?
As she says, she won't get help. She won't seek treatment. She overanalyzes everything. She believes she knows everybody's problems. She, you know, if you don't follow the way I live, then you have problems. She does that to everyone. Our grandmother, who isn't with us anymore, passed away. She threw tubs of things away that she had. So now we're out of those things
Respectfully,
as well.
Your Honor, those things were things that my mother had never used. They were things like a sweater she had never
were
even
hers.
worn. It didn't matter.
They were our family's possessions. That's all we
There were
had left
sweaters that
of
still
my
had
grandmother.
tags on them. My mother was a shopaholic.
But they belonged to your mother. And what I'm hearing Riley say is that there were things that were important to him because they belonged to his grandmother. I have another story. I guess you all see I'm just full of stories today. You all are triggering a lot of stories for me. My father's mother, my paternal grandmother, gave her dishes to my mother, right? And my mother, you know, although I wanted the dishes, but I'm like, okay. But my mother gave them to the oldest granddaughter, right? Which is appropriate. She gave them to Goodwill. I was devastated. I was devastated. And then I had an attitude with my mother for a minute. I was like, of course, I couldn't be mad at my mother, but I was like, that meant, you know, were the dishes real china? No, they weren't. But I ate out of those dishes. Every time I went to my grandmother's house, she would pull those dishes out to serve us dinner because she treated us like royalty.
Coming up,
I thought it was just, again, just like
Respectfully,
stuff from his preschool.
This was labeled. It was a big label on the top of them. We had even had a discussion before I had moved out. Don't touch these.
you're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Riley Monroe, who is suing his mother, Donna Monroe, for property loss.
So now you're getting rid of your mother's things. You probably say, well, Judge, they belong to me. They didn't belong to Riley. But there are certain sentimental pieces to this. And I am really begging you to go and get some help. I'm not saying that you should be in a situation where you're on heavy-duty drugs, but maybe there's some other alternatives. Maybe there are things that the psychologist could recommend. Maybe there's breathing. Maybe there's meditation. Maybe there's some other ways that you can deal with this, because this is causing you and your son to be on opposite sides of my courtroom.
Right.
Which is
but
not good.
Respectfully, Your Honor, if I had known that any of these things were important to him, then I would not have thrown them away. And the other
She
thing
knew.
is
You
I
didn't think
She
the
knew.
ornaments were important to him?
I didn't know that the travel ornaments that I had brought home for him, I didn't know they were in that box, because on the top of the box where it was all dusty were just old, it was like, there was like a dusting of glitter, there were like broken popsicle sticks. I thought it was just, again, just like
Respectfully,
stuff from his preschool.
This was labeled. It was a big label on the top of them. We had even had a discussion before I had moved out. Don't touch these.
And that was years before. That was when you went to college. You mentioned it. You didn't talk about it for years. The only thing I heard about this after, when he moved into his apartment, that's when I heard about these again.
You could have given me a heads up, maybe. Say,
could have
hey, is
given
it
me a
okay if
heads
I
up.
throw these away?
Coming up,
He knows that
They
that
were in my room with my belongings, with a big label.
They were not. They were in the
with
attic.
an agreement that you would not throw them. If they were in the attic, you moved them
You
there.
moved him to the attic.
you're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. The Verdict with Judge Hatchett is back with the case of Riley Monroe, who is suing his mother, Donna Monroe, for property loss.
He's
Well, you could have
constantly
given him a heads
projecting
up to
onto
say,
me, Your
hey, I'm
Honor.
getting ready to purge. Come over here, anything you
But,
want.
Your
Right?
Honor, respectfully, he knows this about me. He knows that
They were
that
in
I,
my room with my belongings, with a big label.
They were not. They were in the
with
attic.
an agreement that you would not throw them. If they were in the attic, you moved them
You
there.
moved him to the attic.
Yeah.
How do you all suggest we resolve this? Because this is bigger than money. This is really bigger than money, and I need to rule on this case. This is more important than money.
Absolutely.
Because I have a son and a mother on opposite sides of my courtroom. How can this be resolved? We can't get the ornaments back. What do you suggest? How do you suggest that this be fixed?
I would suggest that actually Riley get some therapy to learn how to communicate more clearly with me, because
what I have to
feel
do.
like I am clear with him. He knows that I'm a purger. He knows that, you know, there's addiction in our family. I don't want to be a hoarder. I will not be a hoarder like other family members have been.
But this is not a hoarding situation. These are ornaments. This is a box of Christmas ornaments that were important to him. And, you know,
Which I
before
would have kept if he would have let me know.
You did know. You did know.
I believe that you knew.
She has thrown away acceptance letters from college. She's
Which he
thrown
didn't
away
even go to.
my
I
But
my
the fact that
guitar.
you got
acceptance letter
in-
to college he didn't even
I
go
was
to.
accepted. I was accepted.
But
and
you
I
didn't
went
go
to
there.
college.
He went to
but
a better school.
My first college acceptance letter, she threw in the trash recklessly.
That meant something to him.
And if it means something to him, then he should put it away and he should file it away.
It was put away.
Judge Hatchett's verdict when we return. You're watching The Verdict with Judge Hatchett.
I think that Riley doesn't take responsibility for his own things, and instead he projects it onto me as if it's my fault and
See,
my
I was going to try to work
responsibility.
something out, but you know what? You're going to pay the $2,300 because you're in
Your Honor,
denial.
I paid for those ornaments originally, though. So you're asking me
gonna
to pay
the
for ornaments
$2,300.
twice.
Let me tell you why. Because this is called a reality check for you right now. And I was being concerned, I was being empathetic. But see, you're not trying to fix this. You're not trying to meet him. You're not trying to understand his perspective of what this means. You're saying that it was his first acceptance letter and he went to a different college, so why was it important? You're so focused on what you're thinking that you're not thinking about what's important to your son. But this has to be the reality check in this courtroom today. And until you are going to own some of this, you're going to further alienate your son. And that's going to be the bigger tragedy. Nothing further. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,300. We will stand adjourned.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All rise.
Judge Hatchett has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant has been ordered to pay $2,300. We all know these are tough and uncertain times. Our mental health matters. If you or a loved one is struggling, you're not alone. NAMI, the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization, is here in our community to help. Visit NAMI.org to learn about the free programs and services near you. You can also call the NAMI Self-Help Line at 1-800-950-NAMI or text NAMI to 62640. You're not alone. This has been a production of Allen Media Group.